And I'm popping the top to get in the water. I'm not
I swear,
I'm not
fit.
top off too much on land anymore these days. That's not anything anybody wants to see.
No. Not doing that.
Speaking of things people don't want to see, Keefe,
Yeah.
the Red Sox these days.
They were on their way to a nice series against the Mets. They did win 2 out of 3, but that last one was really a kick in the...
I heard Andy say this yesterday. He's like, it feels like you lost the series.
Kind of.
I know you won it.
Yeah.
It feels like you lost it. I agree. That's what it feels like. I know in reality what it is. But the way it ended just sucks so much that it took away any momentum they had, which is why it was so brainless and moronic by Cora to pull Crochet when he did. And who knows? I said this yesterday. They may not have won the game either way. It was a 1-1 game. You could have lost the game by sticking with Crochet for all I know. But that was a self-inflicted wound that clearly lost you the game. You might not have won it, but that lost it for you. So, I don't know. What's your confidence level this team can turn this around, Keith? We've been teeter-tottering back and forth, hovering around 500, 1 game over, 2 games under for what feels like the entire year.
Yeah, it's not super high. I mean, 51 games is a good sample size, and they keep going up and down around 500. That's also why the game stung. And I know there's so many more games to go and whatever else, but just you'd picked up a little bit of momentum against the Mets, and that if you swept the series, first of all, series sweep. That in and of itself is great. But then you go into this 4-game series against a terrible Orioles team with a winning record. Like, I don't know. You'd feel just a little bit better anecdotally about it if they were able to do that. So, no, I don't know how you could have a lot of confidence in this team right now. The communication across the board is trash. I don't know if anybody is having a great year outside of Bregman, Crochet, Chapman.
Yeah, let me ask you
all the new guys, basically.
I agree.
Basically, everybody that was on the team last year. I know Devers heated.
I was going to say you wouldn't put Devers on the list.
Great year. I would say Devers is back to what he is.
Yeah, and it's hard to have a great year when you're just such a hole. You know what I mean? Like
that's still hanging over this whole
exactly.
thing.
Like he's having a borderline great year at the plate, but is his overall year great? No, that's fair to leave.
Devers is on pace for 32 home runs and 124 RBI.
Yeah, that's a pretty great
year.
That's
a great
year.
Yeah. So that's a great year.
But with everything else, schmeh.
But
is your guy Narvi on the list?
Yeah, no, he's good. He's better than expected. Most other guys though are worse than expected. So Casas was worse and now out for the year. Jarren Duran's been worse. Trevor Story, and we had very low expectations for Story.
I'm
surprised,
and he is somehow surprised he's still healthy.
Well, that's also true.
I'm surprised he's even worse.
Well, that's the thing. We thought, all right, if he's playing, at least the numbers should be a little bit better than they are. He's been terrible. Campbell was hot early. It's kind of faded. Willie Abreu was hotter early and it's faded. Cedon Rafael is more of a defensive specialist. So the rotation outside of Crochet, and now we're upset about his usage, or at least in the last game specifically. So there's not a ton to get excited about, unfortunately. And now it's going to be a lot of pressure, I think, on Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony to not just be like the icing on the cake, but to be like the actual cake. Like, you guys need to show up and be some of their best players and spark a turnaround.
If you had to highlight it, what's been their biggest issue to this point?
That's a good question. Because I feel like most 500 teams, it's a little bit of everything. Because they have a stretch. Like this stretch.
Like starting pitching's on there. But outside of Crochet. The bats are on there. The massive strikeouts. The defense used to be on there. I feel like that's been cleaned up largely.
Because the overall, I think defense early in the season you'd point to.
That is what I point. The first couple of weeks, I'm like, why are they underachieving? That is what I would point to. I mean, the manager's on the list.
Defense is one of them. But I felt this way last year about the team, where they didn't have the expectations, but it was the same thing. As soon as you were ready to say the starting rotation was a strength, it wasn't. And then as soon as you were ready to like write off the bullpen, they'd pitch well. And then they've overall scored, I think, enough runs, but it does seem like there's been a lot of kind of all or nothing games, right? Like where they have the game where they score double digits. So like you might average X amount, but it's not really, you're not getting that consistently. I just think they're one of those teams where like they don't have one thing they can really hang their hat on. Like this is the thing they do the best. But then also it's a variety of reasons why you're a 500 team.
So as much as I want to say Cora's their main issue, I think he's been bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he's their main issue. But, maybe some of his issues are symptomatic or he is a symptom, rather, of some of their bigger issues. Like their strikeouts to me are alarming. So
that's a good one.
The only teams they struck out 465 times this year.
Yeah.
465, which is third in baseball. The teams who have struck out more than them, the Colorado Rockies, who are trending to be worse than the White Sox a year ago. What were you telling me yesterday, Nick? They're trending to be the worst team in modern baseball history.
Yeah,
Colorado.
Billy read something this morning. They have the worst start since 1895.
Yeah, they're 8-42. In the grab bag, they're 8-42.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
No,
I didn't
don't
mean
worry
to-
about it.
I didn't
I'm
mean to
just
jump
saying,
the gun
like,
on that.
I just saw that stat too. Like they're historically the maybe the worst team in over 100 years.
Okay, the other teams in the top 5 are right around where they are. The Angels are surprisingly only a game under 500, 24-25. Cincinnati has massively underachieved. They're 25-26, so similar to Boston. And then the other team in the top 5 is Detroit, who's actually been great at 33-18. I think that their whole, as you said, Keefe, approach at the plate, and I think the manager is somewhere on the list with that issue. If you're asking me why they underachieved, 16 Ks the other night. It's
crazy.
They're non-competitive at bats for what should be a good offense, and I think that's where you get these hit or miss games when they're piling up strikeouts and they're not competitive at the plate. You get these all or nothing performances. So that's if I was going to hone in on one thing, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. The drive line approach, the analytics, the manager's on there, players mailing it in, probably because the manager's been mailing it in from day one, like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I would say that's their biggest issue right now.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one,
And I don't think they're turning it around.
No, that doesn't seem like it's going to change. And again, how good can Meyer and Anthony be? Another guy to look at in like the difference between last year and this year, because you thought, all right, if last year's team is 500, and then you add 3 significant pieces, like glaring need, I guess 4 if you count Walker Buehler, but really 3 of guys that have been performing, shouldn't they be 5-10 games better than they were a year ago? Jarren Duran was an MVP candidate last year. He's now an average player at best. That might even be generous. And maybe he can turn it around. Maybe he'll have a big second half. Like I wouldn't rule that out. He was so good last year. He was so good for most of the year before. I think he's still a really good player, but he was such a spark to the offense a year ago.
Yeah.
Like he was awesome. Now it's like just like a regular leadoff hitter, a regular outfielder. So I don't know if that'll turn around, and maybe that can sort of spark the rest of the offense.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath on Houck. But
no, not on Houck, but Duran.
No, Duran,
Yeah.
I think can certainly turn it around. He needs to do it soon, but I think he can. I'm with you on that. 617-779-7937. Christy had a message in the Twitch chat earlier. She said, "Jones, you're not fat." Debatable. I can't even get down the hallway without sucking wind.
Well, out of shape and fat are two different things.
This is true.
Yeah.
But she said
grossly out of shape is a different thing than fat.
But she said, "Do you not like taking your shirt off because you're blindingly pale?" That's a factor. I am blindingly
I have that.
pale.
Yeah, I look like a
don't-
vampire. It's not great.
I don't love that.
And then I
about
burn.
myself. Yeah.
I'm out there for 2 minutes.
Translucent.
Yeah, like, hey, try to get like a good base.
Yeah.
Red. Because white to red, there is no tan. There is no like.
Yeah, I think that's my
between.
problem. I just want to go right from, as Billy said, translucently pale to tan.
I kinda glow.
There's no chance. I burn too easily.
That's another reason why you could make an argument for the shirt, right? You're like, all right, at least I'm
You
not going to
could.
burn my chest and back.
I'd rather burn than be t-shirt in the pool.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
Oh, not in the
t-shirt
pool,
ocean
but just
guy.
like
t-shirt on the
like,
beach.
kind of beach in like
Yeah.
pool. It's like, dude, you're at the pool. You can
Why
pop it
are,
off. Like,
why are you
nope,
bundled up over there? No.
nothing to see here.
No, it's not. It's not because I don't like my body and I'm ashamed of
That
myself.
was like years ago, going on vacation.
I don't
was
want to
like-
burn.
We were at some place, and I was like under like the umbrella like the whole time. Katie's like, you can get out and
You
walk
can go
around a
mingle.
little bit. Nah, I'm good here. No, I'm not going to burn.
Why are you lying under a towel? It's cold out here.
I'm fine.
95 degrees.
You want to bury me? You want to bury me in the sand? Perfect.
Let's do that.
Grab a pail, grab a shovel. Let's
Go
get
ahead and
this
leave
done.
me.